So you're having a nice little run here. How does it feel?
Feels great. I mean, in terms of this stage, and we've been here before. You take the highs and the lows the same way. Understanding, from game to game, things can change like that. And so, all the experiences that we've had, the reason we have banners, and the lessons that we learned before we got to that level, it all helps you deal with, when I don't meet my own expectations, and when I do, stay even keel, because there's a lot of work to be done.
All right, that's a very nice, politic answer.
For sure.
But how does it feel when you are out on the court and you can get your shot anywhere and it's cooking the way it's been cooking for you the last couple games?
It's a fun way to play. I like, obviously, when I get to shoot the ball and when they go in.
Oh, you like that?
Especially, at Oracle, it's crazy. It's a vibe that I live for. Those flurries that get everybody into it. So I enjoy it.
The Curry flurry?
Yeah. But when you're playing in like big games, and those moments can happen at any moment, especially in the playoffs, it's just nothing like it, for sure.
You said there are times where you're not meeting your personal standards.
Mm-hmm.
You heard about it earlier in the playoffs from a lot of people, and they spun it out to, oh, Steph's he's just not very good in the playoffs anymore. What was it like to hear that?
It's definitely a what have you done for me lately type of, league in terms of the reaction. I think the fact that there is so much scrutiny and everybody's kind of just jumping on the bandwagon or the wave of, if I have a bad quarter, half, game, whatever, that I'm not the player that I have been or whatever, that it's because when you reach the top, they want to find whatever it is to kind of knock you down. So it doesn't get to me. I almost laugh at it because I know, again, who I am as a player, what I've been able to accomplish, with my teammates as well, like what they expect from me every night. And so, again, that's why I'm able to bounce back, because confidence never wavers.
When you guys were playing that Game 6 in Houston, you were hoping to close out the series. It was the game after Kevin Durant had gone down with that calf injury. You go to your closet and you take out, for shoes, the Curry 2015s. What were you hoping to evoke when you rummaged around for those?
I kind of just want to lean into, I had heard the noise about, how bad I was playing, and thinking back to when we first got our first banner, and just everything was new and fresh, and kind of wanted to just lean into it a little bit. So I went in the garage. Actually, I was on the road already. We were in the on the airplane on the way to Houston. I text Chris Stone, who's my Under Armour rep, to head to my house, go through my garage, see if you could find some old
trust
school.
If you're going to have someone else go through all your stuff.
He looked out for me. He ran to FedEx, got them shipped overnight, and they were in the locker room.
So this was a procedure.
Yeah, it was a bat signal I put out in the air, and he answered the call. So it worked. I think obviously it took a half to get going, but I had to break him back in.
There is this lightness that you guys have been playing with since really the end of that Game 5 against Houston, Game 6, the beginning of this Blazers series. It does remind a lot of people of 2015, 2016. Does it feel that way to you?
With our core, obviously, without K, we have to play differently, and we have to kind of highlight what everybody's strengths are and do it by committee. KD was playing unbelievable this entire playoff series, and there was no shortage of just spectacular play that he was coming with every single night. When he goes down with an injury, things change immediately. And again, we've had the experience where we all know how to work off of each other. But again, you hear the noise. Like, KD goes out. You know how well he was playing, averaging 30 plus, and his defensive presence and all that type of stuff. Nobody, it's weird to say, gave us a shot to, or said we shouldn't have won the Houston series or whatever the case is. So, again, confidence and trust in each other to be able to make that adjustment on the fly. And we'll do it again when KD gets back in terms of, the team that we want to be to win a championship.
It's interesting because it's fun to be the gritty underdogs everyone loves and wants to get behind. That's what you were when you broke onto the scene in 2015, right? And it's fun to kind of be that. You get Kevin Durant, you guys become so invincible, and a lot of NBA fans' minds, you guys become the bully.
Yeah.
And it's not as much fun to be the bully. Is it good in some way, or just fun to get a moment of getting that revival? As you said, we weren't expected to win, of kind of bringing in that underdog thing again.
It's fun to win. Like, I don't care what the narrative is. So, yeah, obviously, we're at the front and center of any NBA talk for a while now. And people ask me all the time, like you said, even from my days at Davidson, like the underdog mentality was just a part of who I am as a player and my leadership style and things like that. Like, do you lose that when you start winning championships? And yeah, the narrative changes because you're expected to, and people are trying to knock you off.
Right.
But at my core and like who I am, that's part of my DNA. So it's easy to tap back into it. And I think that's the fuel that I always kind of lean into for sure.
This is a little complicated to talk about because it is nuanced, right? You guys, the way you played in 2015-16, the way you've been playing these last couple games, it is fun. It's fun for the fans. It's the reason people rode this wave with you for the first couple years. You guys had this core of the team. That doesn't mean, and I've heard you say this, that you don't want Kevin Durant on your team. So how is that to sort of figure out how to thread that needle between both of those things being true?
I think we talked about it when in the summer of 2016 that with that much talent, and it wasn't always just going to be perfect every night you step foot on the floor. There's going to be some sacrifice from everybody, and it was going to look different just because K is a special scorer and has abilities that nobody else in this world has, and in order to allow that to shine, things had to change a little bit. But it's just a new height of what we can accomplish. And again, when he goes out and he's not in the lineup, we have the ability and experience to shift and to find a way to, again, have everybody involved, move the ball, try to create open shots, with either me being a threat or Klay coming off a pin down or Draymond in the lane making plays or Andre spacing the floor. Sean coming in, giving us, good looks in the post. Like, everybody has, something that they bring to the table, and it's just highlighted even more.
People want you to like one style better than the other, though. Do you like one style better than the other?
Again, I like winning. So, again, whoever's on the floor, we know how to get that done. So, at the end of the day, we've all shined, throughout this 3-year run. We've all had moments where we've helped put banners up. And at the end of the day, we all can kind of go back to those moments and know that we all are important to what we do. And that when somebody's out, other guys have an opportunity and the talent to step up in their absence.
The other thing I've heard over the last couple weeks, I heard Steph can't play anymore. Then I heard, Steph's amazing. He can play anything anymore, but probably from the same people. Also, I've heard, the Warriors figured out these last few games that if Kevin Durant leaves in free agency, they'll be okay. My thought when I heard that was, I think these guys already knew that they would be okay if he decides to leave in free agency. Is that accurate?
The years as we've gone on, again, from 2015 to now, we have smart, talented IQ guys that just know how to play basketball. So I stay in the moment. Like, it's hard for me to think about next year, or think about what's going to happen. We know what we're capable of, who we are as a team as it stands right now, and we're going to try to get the most out of that, and that means winning a championship. But there's no coincidence, obviously, when one guy goes out, the train keeps moving, and that's because we have an ultimate trust in each other. So I think the biggest thing for us and the way that we've been able to put this thing together is each year is different. Right. You could talk about this year has been dramatically different than years past, but we're still right on the doorstep of winning another championship, all things considered, and that's beauty in every single guy that steps foot on the floor.
So we've been talking about Kevin Durant's injury. We have not been talking about your near mortal wound that you got.
So catastrophic.
Can we discuss your finger? Can you show us, right?
I'm probably not the first person or the last person that'll have a dislocated finger, but it's been an interesting journey.
It was disgusting looking, first of all, on the court.
It was bad, and then you have to figure out how to tape it up and keep your touch.
Right. Was there a moment when you went back to the training room? I mean, I know intellectually, it's a dislocation, I can pop it back in, but it looked particularly gross.
I've never actually had this happen before, so that was my initial thought, is like, it looks terrible, so it has to be something like broken in there. More so just dealing with the pain. When I got back out in the locker room, the doctor puts it back in place. We get an x-rays. I come back on the floor in like less than 10 minutes, and then you're just dealing with pain and a tape job that you're not used to, and you have to work through that. I think the biggest thing is on my off days I can't play golf. So
man,
such a
the struggle is real.
Terrible life.
I've had 2 of your different teammates tell me that they appreciate that is on your middle finger. I don't know if that's taken into account for you.
I think one of my ex and now new teammates, Andrew Bogut, said he was getting his ring from yesteryear fitted for that finger.
Fitted for that finger. I think
pretty good.
I can understand that. Is it affecting you at all going forward?
It's just a pain thing. Like, I figured out how to deal with touch and shooting, and obviously I'm going to continue to get comfortable with it, but they said I can't do anything worse to it, so I can have some comfort in that.
So Kevin Durant gets hurt during the Houston series. You dislocate your finger during the Houston series. DeMarcus is already out. Was there a point during that series against the Rockets you thought, we might not make it out of this one?
I don't know if I got to that point. I think we just knew how hard it was. Like, they're an amazing team and have been built to beat us, and they haven't been shy about talking about it. So when you get in a series like that, and every possession, every quarter, every game is a war. It's true playoff type, vibes. Mm-hmm. And then, injuries, like you said, and in the middle of a series, KD goes out. For us to respond the way we did, go to Houston, win Game 6 was huge. It's crazy, it's only the conference semis, so we said walking off the court, like, that was a big win, huge series, we got it done, let's celebrate it, but there's a lot more work to do. We don't judge ourselves off winning the conference semis, but we know we respect Houston and what they're capable of, and knew it was going to be a dogfight to get through that. And now we're facing Portland. Similar vibes, but we're that much closer to getting back to the finals and take it from there.
You did hear from Houston the entire season. Oh, the Rockets were up 3-2 in last year's conference finals, and Chris Paul went down, and Rockets would have beaten the Warriors otherwise.
For sure.
What did you think of that noise during the regular season, and then in particular getting to go beat them when you were the guys who had the injury, but you still won that series?
It's kind of a beauty. There's obviously going to be a crash course. We're going to face them at some point, and I know they have a slogan, run it back, and the whole vibe of, like, you play the what-if game, all you want to. At the end of the day, like you said, we had an amazing 6-game series against them. We got dealt a tough blow with an injury. We responded, we won, and we keep it moving. Like,
it's going to be
a long.
You take a little satisfaction out of the way things went down.
You saw the way we celebrated.
After how much talking
for
they
the conference semis, you saw the way we celebrated. That was for a reason.
All right, there we go. Boom. You've moved on to the Western Conference Finals, and you finished your series first, and you were waiting to see if Portland was going to beat Denver in their Game 7 of their series. Mm-hmm. What was it like watching that game, watching your younger brother, knowing he could be coming to meet you in these Western Conference Finals?
It was wild. My parents were in Houston for Game 6, and my mom didn't know what she was going to do for Mother's Day. That was that Sunday. Didn't know if there was going to be 2 Game 7s or which city she was going to be in. So we won, obviously, and it freed up her Sunday to go to Denver with my dad and watch my brother play. And so I'm sitting in the Bay, watching on TV, me and my whole family, obviously rooting for the Blazers for them to advance and have the Curry battle in the Western Conference Finals, and it came to be. So definitely a special moment. It was nerve-wracking. I get nervous watching him play regardless, right. No matter.
That's your little brother.
Yeah, who he's playing, but in that
were you screaming at the TV? What were you
doing?
Oh
yeah, every time he shot it, every time CJ hit a tough shot, like I was a part of the Portland faithful for a little bit, but it was cool. And I know my mom called me right after the game on FaceTime, and when they were in the back, saying we'll see you on Tuesday. So it was cool.
And your parents were trying to figure out, now that they're both kids playing each other, you are the first brothers, by the way, to play each other this late in the playoffs with the stakes this high. So that's pretty cool.
That is crazy.
And your parents were trying to figure out, how do we root for these kids? Whose team's gear do we wear? That kind of thing. And they decided to flip a coin, which your sister then captured on video, of which parent was going to wear which team's clothing. What did you think of that?
They had so much nervous energy, so I didn't know how it was going to play out. I knew they had a game plan coming into the series. They didn't want to go both for the home team and then right. Switch it when we went in the series, switch to Portland. So they flipped a coin. Then they both copped out and got the half and half jerseys because I knew they were just too invested in both of us. And then I was talking about it last night. I got so confused because I normally look up at my family section with my wife sitting up there, my parents or my sister, when something good happens or I make a shot and I run down the court and I see my mom, like normal, stand up, start clapping. But then all I see is like straight Portland across her jersey, and I'm just confused. Right. It's like really surreal type of moment. So I yelled up something to her, and then
what'd you say?
I was like, "Who you with? Who you with?"
And I know your mom's not shy. What'd you say back?
She couldn't hear me during the game, so
okay.
I had to tell her what I said afterwards. She thought I was talking smack, which technically I was, but
yeah.
I know when we go to Portland, it's going to be even crazier because they'll be feeding off their home crowd energy, and I don't know if I'll be able to look over there when we're on the road. I might not get the response I want.
And what about for you, watching your brother? Because I know that you guys have played games against each other plenty before.
Yeah.
But you've been to a series this high stakes before. He hasn't. This is the biggest moment of his career.
Mm-hmm.
And you're his big brother. You want him to do well. You were just 3 days ago screaming and cheering for Portland. So when he's running down the court and launches a shot, what are you thinking? I hope it goes in. I hope it doesn't go in. Where's your brain at?
Let's just put it this way. When he's on defense, I could care less because I need to get my buckets up and score. Like when I was guarding him yesterday, he had a corner three in front of our bench, and it's such a mixed fit. Like I can't really turn it off, to be honest. I really was like, all right, I'll be okay if he makes this one. I'm gonna still contest really hard, so it looks good on film. But I might be okay with him making it. But it's just weird. So hopefully, as the series goes on, we keep playing him. I'll be able to just
I think it's always a little weird. Venus and Serena Williams have talked about the fact that it
That's
never
just
doesn't feel
though,
weird,
right?
and it's just one-on-one, and you have to take the shot across the net. You can't just be like, oh, let this one go, right?
It's weird. It's a weird vibe. It's the best way to explain it. I can't turn off that human nature in that moment to root for him, even though I know it'll hurt me if he's playing well.
Well, you guys have been competitive, obviously, your whole lives, the way brothers are. You were both in the three-point shooting contest at the NBA All-Star Game, and you guys placed a bet. And I'm confused about the stakes of the bet. It was to buy the family tickets, but for what? For how long? What were the stakes?
I need to look back at the contract. We gotta figure that out.
Is there some dispute?
There's a little dispute on that, whether it's home and home, or no matter where the venue was, all that type of stuff. So I might need to go. We had to get a mediator or something.
You won.
I did win.
But he's your little brother. Are you really going to make him pay for you for stuff?
100%. That's how it's been since birth. Like, you got to pay your bet. So we just got to figure out what the actual stipulations are.
Did you make a bet on this series?
No, the stakes are high enough. The bet is we get to go to the finals. My parents are in a great shape. They get to go to the finals
right, no matter
regardless.
what.
So, but for me, it said there's
I feel like the winner should have to buy the loser something.
Maybe like a replica ring if they get to the finals.
That is so cold. My God, I was thinking you were this nice big brother, or you're talking about how, I kind of want him to get a shot too. That's just mean.
I mean, stakes are high right now. We're good. We're good.
All right, I got to ask. I do want to ask you about the way the Blazers were defending you in Game 1. This was an odd choice to decide that the best shooter of all time should just be left with a lot of space in the pick and roll. When it first happened, the first time, did you thought they had just made a mistake and mixed up their coverages or something?
Let's have more space in that first. This was actually the first possession. We drew up a play and came off, and I was obviously wide open. I
where's
missed
the defender?
I missed a shot, but it's obviously, I've seen every defense in the book, and you make adjustments to it. Obviously, last night there was a certain option that was open pretty much every time on the floor, so we took it and I made shots. I assumed there would be an adjustment, and I'll be able to adjust to it and hopefully still get good looks. But over the course of 48, we had some good looks out there, let's put it that way.
Did you feel like practice at some point?
I wouldn't say that. There's no simulation for this. It's the Western Conference Finals. There's a little bit more pressure.
Like 10 feet of space in front of you.
I mean, I shot a high percentage shooting difficult shots, so if I get clean looks, my confidence is only that much higher. But again, from game to game, series to series, the best offensive guys are able to just see the floor and take what's there. So if that changes game 2, I'll be able to still find shots. He helped me a lot too.
We see you.
Passing on time, on
target.
target.
We don't see you. All right. So these interviews take a village, and I've had 2 people give me questions to ask you. Our producer, Amina Hussein, is from the town. She would like to know what it feels like to be walking around Oracle and knowing the moments are closing.
Every game, that definitely comes to mind when I'm driving to the arena, pulling up. For 10 years, I've been making the same commute and same venue, same parking spot, same everything, and it's gonna be different for sure. So, was this 47 years we've been playing at Oracle?
Well, not you.
I'm saying, yeah, in general, and so a lot of history there. Obviously, the 3 championships we've been able to win, going back to 74, 75. So we'll hopefully be able to extend this for, let's see, at least 5 more games at Oracle. But we want to close it out with a bang, and we're on the right path for that.
All right, and then also your splash brother, Mr. Thompson, put in a question for this interview.
Stop it.
He said, ask him, quote, why he doesn't pass to Klay more.
Somebody said my assists were down, so maybe that's why this year I wasn't passing to him. Nah, I passed to him enough yesterday, and he got off, so we got a good relationship right now. Tell him to stop stirring the pot.
A complaint was filed to the complaint department,
and
and it was asked for me to pass on to you.
For his dunk that he was so excited about. I was a guy that
really excited about that dunk.
I threw him that pass.
He was very. Why do you think that dunk meant so much to him?
Well, me and him both, we probably me more than him. Mm-hmm. Those opportunities are few and far between.
Right.
I obviously missed a couple too.
Did he make a crack about your dunk after he made his dunk?
For sure.
Yeah.
But if you're saying, I want to put next time you talk to him,
yes,
ask him why he doesn't point at the guy who throws him the assist when he throws it to him. Because I threw him the pass, he dunked it, he starts looking at the crowd. I didn't get a point back or nothing.
All right, that's now in the hopper for the next Klay Thompson
Appreciate
interview.
you.
Excellent. Thank you very much.
No problem.
Love it.